The terrifying part is, I had checked everything. Or at least I thought I had. The bed was straight. The kitchen looked normal. No extra glass out. No jacket forgotten. No obvious sign anyone had been there. I remember actually feeling relieved. Feeling clever. Feeling safe. And all along, what nearly ended my marriage was hot water. It was a Wednesday, middle of summer, sticky heat outside, thunder building in the distance. Daniel texted me around noon, running late. Don't wait up for dinner. I read it and felt that familiar split inside me. Part guilt, part opportunity. And I hate admitting opportunity won. Ryan came over around 4. At that point, the affair had been going on long enough to become routine. That was the danger. Not passion. Routine. Because routine makes people careless. And careless people miss things. Like hot water. Ryan always showered before leaving. He said it made him feel less obvious. Less traceable. I used to laugh at that. Thought it was paranoid. Turns out he was worrying about the wrong evidence. He left around 5:20. I tidied up. Changed the sheets even though they didn't need changing. Sprayed the room. Checked the bathroom. Or thought I did. I looked at the counter. The towels. The mirror. Everything visible. What I didn't think to do was run the shower cold. Because who thinks of that? Who imagines water temperature can betray you? Daniel got home at 5:43. Too early. Much too early. And the moment I heard his keys, my body went rigid. That animal panic. The one liars know. But Ryan was gone. House looked normal. I told myself, breathe. You're fine. Daniel came in sweaty from work, kissed my cheek, mentioned traffic, acted ordinary. And I started believing the danger had passed. Again. That was the pattern. False relief before collapse. Then he said, I'm taking a quick shower. And every nerve in me fired. Because suddenly I remembered. The hot water, still in the tank, still in the pipes, still warm. And before I could think of anything, he was already down the hall. I stood frozen in the kitchen, listening, as if listening could undo physics. Then he called out. Not loudly, just enough. Babe? That tone. Curious, questioning. Danger. I walked to the bathroom. Daniel stood half-turned toward me, hand on the shower knob, and asked, why is the shower still warm? That was it. The line. The point where ordinary became irreversible. I laughed. Nervous reflex. Said I had showered. Simple. Fast. Too fast. Daniel frowned. You showered an hour ago. Pause. Why is the water this hot? And because Daniel noticed details, that wasn't the end. It was the beginning. He touched the mirror. There's steam residue. Looked at the floor. Bath mat's damp. Looked at the soap. Why is this almost empty? One question led to another, and every answer made the next harder. I said maybe I showered later than I thought. Weak. He didn't buy it. He opened the linen closet, paused, pulled out a towel. Still damp. Used. My stomach dropped. Because Ryan had used the blue one Daniel never touched, and I forgot to swap it. Daniel stared at me, long enough to hurt. Then, was someone here? There are questions that don't feel like questions. That was one. It felt like a doorway, and I was standing on the edge. I lied. Of course I lied. No, too quick, too defensive. And he caught that too. He always caught hesitation and speed and what didn't fit. Then he asked something worse. If no one was here, why is the passenger seat moved in your car? Everything inside me stopped because I hadn't even noticed. Ryan had adjusted it, and Daniel had seen. He'd been noticing before the shower. The shower was just where he said it. That realization shattered me. He was connecting pieces, and I was losing ground by the second. Then he said quietly, "Tell me the truth before I force myself to find it." And something about that broke me. Not the threat, the sadness in it. I sat on the edge of the bed and confessed. Not elegantly, not completely. In fragments. Ryan, months, work, here, the house. Each word seemed to hollow the room. Daniel sat in the chair across from me. Didn't interrupt. Didn't yell. Just listened. Which was somehow worse. Because anger leaves heat. Silence leaves emptiness. Then he asked, "In our shower?" I nodded. And I watched something leave his face. Something trust-shaped. Something final. He laughed once, bitter, disbelieving. I found out because the shower was warm. And the absurdity of that made me cry, because it was true. A marriage broken by water temperature. He packed that night, quietly. No theatrics, no screaming, just drawers, zippers, finality. At the door he said, "You know what hurts? Not that you cheated, that you brought him into places I thought were ours." Then he left, and the door closing sounded louder than any fight. Ryan texted later, "Everything okay?" I stared at it, then deleted the thread, because in one evening the affair had transformed from exciting secret into pathetic wreckage. Daniel never tried to repair things. That was maybe hardest. No dramatic chance to fight for us. Just certainty, separation, paperwork, distance. The clean violence of someone emotionally done. Months later, I asked if counseling was possible. He said, "How do I trust a house again?" And I had no answer. Because betrayal stains spaces. Not just people. Bathrooms, bedrooms, hallways. Ordinary places become contaminated. A year later, I was showering in my apartment. Water ran hot over my shoulders, and I suddenly started sobbing. Because grief is strange. It hides in sensations. Steam, heat, water. And I realized I would never feel hot water hit my skin without remembering the question that ended my marriage. People think affairs get exposed by dramatic mistakes. Texts, lipstick, hotel receipts. Sometimes they unravel because of something almost ridiculous. A tank of hot water, a damp towel, a passenger seat pushed too far back, tiny domestic clues, forensics of ordinary life. And what haunts me most is how close I came. If Daniel came home 20 minutes later, if Ryan skipped the shower, if I'd run cold water for 30 seconds, maybe the lie survives longer. Maybe everything delays. But maybe truth was always looking for some crack. And that was the one it chose. Because he didn't find out from a text, or a confession, or catching us. He found out because he touched the shower water and asked one simple question. Why is the shower still warm? And from that moment, everything unraveled.